Hello, my name is Brandy Long, and I am working on my research project that I'm searching for teachers' knowledge and attitudes towards moderate to severe disabilities. This is my first year teaching MSc, and I have now moved to middle school. I have 9 years experience in elementary, and now I'm in middle school. How exciting! Um, The question that I am searching for was, what knowledge and attitudes do teachers have towards effective behavior management strategies in the middle school classroom? Obviously, this is my very first year of teaching in middle school and MSD, and I'm looking for the effective behavior strategies because behavior management is the key point in an MSD classroom, because these kids do not understand what is going on and why things happen the way they do. And it's important that we teach them these strategies of how to cope and all of the above. The three themes that I have found through doing my research was evidence-based instruction. This is highly important for anybody in the education field because you have to have the evidence-based learning from what has already been done and what actually works. So for the MSc, I could use constant time delay, which is kind of like wait time for the general education, but it's constant time delay for MSD. Then I can say we can do least to most prompts, um, and we're going to use a lot of visual prompts because I have a lot of nonverbal kids and we have to use pictures. The next is teachers' attitudes and knowledge. Obviously, there's some teachers that have a negative attitude towards kids that have disabilities, and that is hard because we need to show all kids that they are important and they can make a difference in the world. The third one was classroom management. Obviously, when you are an educator, you have to have top priority with classroom management, or your class is going to get a hold of you. And we don't need that. We need to have structure, procedures, and for all kids to understand those expectations and procedures. Um, My procedure, I used a triangulated mixed method for my action research, and I used quantitative and qualitative data because it can reduce the likelihood of errors. The first step, all 6 of my participants completed a Likert scale, overcoaching positivity in the classroom and the management style each participant might use in their classroom. I also used teacher observation, and which was 30 minutes of their class time, and post observation, where I would meet with them and talk to them about their management styles and more in depth than what I saw in the observation. The most important process of my data analysis was I looked at the quantitative and qualitative data, and I was looking for what the common occurrences and some ways that I can answer my research question based on the data I have collected through my research project. I had 6 participants, 3 of them which taught middle school and 3 of them which taught high school. And I used a survey data that I sent out in Google Forms, and I have interview data and observation data. It's all stored on my computer, and it is in my Google Drive, so nobody has access to that account. So the data is saved, and I like hard copies, so I have copies of their data that I'm going to, obviously, I will delete or shred when on January 1st of 2020. This is the how many years experience my participants have. I have one teacher that this is her first year teaching, and then I have one that has 3 years experience, one that has 2 years experience. So that's a good way to see how comparing them to my veteran teachers, which has 11 years, 13 years, and 26 years of experience with MSD students. So that is exciting for me to learn from. My data collection and analysis, obviously I used a survey, Google Forms, and I used quantitative, which is a survey, qualitative, which is observations, and through my interview process, I use qualitative as well. I compared the data together to find the most commonality themes that I have. So I coded it, and then I coded it again to get my meta themes. And I finally got all my meta themes, which is redirection, positive reinforcement, strategies for motivation, and evidence-based instruction. This is my survey results. I had all 6 of them. They completed this, and it was very interesting on their aspects of this. All pretty much shows that they do coach positive social behaviors. They do reward targeted behaviors with incentives. And it's important to reflect on appropriate behavior in the classroom, meaning you have to model it, you have to show it, you have to emphasize it for the kids to understand. My observation results. This is my first coding step that I have right here, and I took it and I did it in a broad range of ways that I saw in the classroom that could be helpful in the future for my classroom. And this is my final steps for my coding themes. The final coding themes that I had was redirection, positive reinforcement, strategies and motivation, evidence-based instruction. Moving on to my interview results, I came up with the same 4 themes because that stuck out the most with all of my interviews, observations, and surveys. This was amazing because it taught me all of the strategies of motivation they use and how they redirect their students from the strategies of motivation. And positive reinforcement has to be implied at all costs because you have to have that positive reinforcement because that enables your motivation, and that is going to then redirect your students. And the evidence-based instruction is going to be a way for these students to learn the best. So this is what I have learned, and this has been amazing. I have a chart here for all the themes. I have, out of the 6 people, my 6 participants, redirecting is 26%, strategy and motivation is 21%, positive reinforcement is 26%, and evidence-based instruction is 26%. Recommendations for implications for future practice. I feel like, with the redirection, students have to be redirected when they're not acting appropriately in the classroom. We have to redirect them, and it's important that we find different ways of coping with that frustration that they may have, and we need to teach that. And then strategies of motivation. Strategies of motivation is going to be completely different than a regular ed kid. They may want food. I motivate one of my students with food if they do their work for me. If they act the way that I need them to act, that's what I motivate them with. Positive reinforcement is very important in evidence-based instruction, so you find what is good for them, different ways for my MSc students to learn. The conclusions and results linked to literature. I the goal of my action research was to discover effective classroom management in the MSC